Hey guys, and welcome to a very special episode. Today there are not many bikes that give you a music to the ear when the engine starts. So I have come down over here in Bangalore, 45 kilometers away from the city, to actually meet the legends. That's true. There is one bike in India that is literally legendary. From the music it starts, from its engine to the speed it delivers. If you guys are guessing if it's RD350, you guys are right. And I'm not talking about one, I'm not talking about two. I'm talking about 157 RD right here, lined up here in Bangalore. Back in the good old days in 1983, when I was just a crying baby, Japan imported 750 monsters. And yes, these are these monsters. They are two-cylinder engines over here which delivered 39 bhp. Now, 39 bhp on an Indian road, yeah, it is too much. And they came to realize it, and they started making a bike specified for Indian conditions, and they brought down to 31. Unfortunately, that was still very powerful. And then came a third edition which had a 27 bhp. And unfortunately, that too was very fast. And somehow they came up to a very stupid idea of stopping the production. Well, that spirit died, the vehicle died then, but the passion, the love still continues right here in Bangalore, where all these guys have assembled over here, and they are shouting out a single message to Yamaha: make the spare parts. Give us the spare parts. We need to keep the love and spirit alive.
The Yamaha RD350 was the very first super performance offered to the Indian customers in the 1980s, when the only bikes in India were the Bullet 350, the Java 250cc 2-stroke and the Rajdoot 175cc 2-stroke. The original Japanese RD350 had 40 bhp, but the Indian editions were tuned down to 31 bhp due to the low fuel quantity in India and also to increase mileage. The RD was produced from 1983 to 1990 in India. The first edition was called the High Torque edition. This edition had 31 bhp. The first high-torque edition of RD350 had too much power for the average Indian rider, as back then our market was not used to such a performance product, and sadly, even now. The RD was a crotch rocket capable of hitting 165 km per hour in 6th gear. The RD used to frequently wheelie at the hands of inexperienced riders. Being a high-revving two-stroke, the bike was uncontrollable except a handful of experienced and mature riders. This prompted Yamaha to bring down the detuned version of the RD350 Low Torque, which had 27 bhp with less pickup and slightly better mileage. The RD used to return a mileage of anywhere between 6 to 23 km per liter depending on how it was driven. The RD was fully imported in earlier models, but in 1990 the bike was manufactured completely by Escorts Yamaha in India. The bike had a cult status all around the world since it was produced from early 70s in Europe, Japan and America. The RD had a twin-cylinder reed valve air-cooled 347cc engine, with each cylinder having a displacement of 173.5 cc. The RD had a slick 6-speed close-ratio gearbox with 1 down 5 up pattern. The RD also featured torque induction ignition technology of Yamaha. The RD could do 0 to 100 in just 7 seconds and had a top speed of 165 km per hour in its heyday. The RD could touch 150 km per hour in just 16 seconds and was the first bike to have a tachometer in India. The RD had a twin exhaust with 150mm drum brakes at both ends on the Indian models. The drum brakes lacked the bite of a disc, and the abroad models had a front disc brake which was absent in the Indian models. Coupled with the skinny tires, the RD had scary high-speed handling and braking control characteristics. The RD is still the performance benchmark of any production bike in India. Even after 28 years, no Indian performance bike has ever come close to it.
When did your passion start with the bikes and with the RD350?
I bought this bike around 2 years back. What happened was I was sitting in my house and I could hear a roar, and I just came out and me and my brother saw this bike. That's when the craze started, and this was around 3 years back. And from then we started hunting the bike. After almost a year and so, I got hold of my bike.
And the RD350, let me tell you guys, has a huge history. And we have the man with the facts right over here. I heard the first few bikes directly came from Japan. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, right. Around 750 vehicles in India. It was imported from Japan.
And that was probably the most powerful bike that ever came in, around 38, 39 bhp.
39 bhp, and later what happened due to it was given to cops, basically for chasing and especially for traffic cops, so the highway patrolling purpose. But later they felt that it's too powerful and lack in fuel efficiency, and as the day goes, they dropped in to 31 bhp, and slowly even it's way too powerful for Indian roads, and they dropped down to 27 bhp. And later, it's suppose by 89 they stopped production, but the sales were till 1991.
And so far, these are one of the most fastest bike that ever touched Indian roads. And have you ever driven that 39 bhp bike?
Not so far, but I have never rode those bikes. But
646 vehicle in India. 646.
Still running the 39.
I have it with me.
Do you have the 39 bhp with you?
Yeah.
And what's the top speed you can reach in that?
Around 160.
These guys are flying on the roads, and you touch the same speed?
yes, usually right now my bike is doing about 160 kilometers an hour. That is close to 100 miles an hour. So it's really doing good. But usually people say that it goes more than that. Yes, you can extract even more. It can reach, you can maximum extract, you can do up to 230 kilometers an hour. That's the extract you can get from RD350, because it's already, they say it's 7 times ported from the factory itself. So you have enough of port sizes in the barrels, you can extract even more power. So even today, the completely modified bike, it can beat any 600cc to 750cc. It can blow off.
What you guys are having over here is an Indian superbike, right?
Right.
And it can go way more faster, as he says.
Right.
Have you got into that, any crashes, any weird crashes?
I've never been in that situation, right? And Karthik and Raval, they own a HT, that's a high top, and I own a low torque vehicle of 1988 model. And what speciality in low torque is it gives an amazing pickup, and the maximum what it can go is about 145 to 150.
Okay, so the low torque engines, what do you say, the pickup is faster, but the top speed is low. Is that right?
Yes. The reason is that the port size matters a lot, because the initial pickup, the short port will increase the throttle response in the initial. But wherein the high torque, the port size is bigger. So what happens is that the throttle response will be equally faster. But comparing to low torque, the high torque is less. But when it comes to the highway, the high torque rocks.
Unfortunately, the RD did not enjoy that much success in India. The running costs were a greater deterrent for the Indian rider to buy the RD, and with the reputation of it being a lethal bike, ensured the sales of RD was poor. Some people even thought RD stood for rapid death. Yamaha promoted the bike with the line, "For the few who dared to dream and to be different." And that's what happened literally in reality. The Hero Honda CD100, which was launched in 1985, further dented the RD sales figure as it had a better mileage. Yamaha still continued to offer RD low torque. The RX100 was later launched in 1985 and it continued to sell better than the RD. Finally, the RD350 was discontinued by Yamaha in 1990s after years of frustration. The fill it, shut it and forget era marked the demise of the RD350. The RD was the first proper performance superbike in India and it still enjoys the cult status in our country. Performance pursuits still swear by it and we can find many RD clubs all around our country.
Well, I'm here with the big man who organized this event over here, Mr. Santosh. You have around 150 bikes assembled.
Correct, today about 157 actually.
The passion has suddenly grown. I mean, 5 years, 10 years back, RD350 was not as in demand as it is today. What was the reason behind the sudden sprout of growth?
I mean, I think it's more visibility. 5 years back, 6 years back, you still had really passionate bikers riding the RD and they used to ride it every day. But then maybe the meets did it. You know, there's a lot more coverage that happened. People got to know that the bike still exists. People got to know that there's so many other people who are riding the bike. So maybe that really helped and you see that kind of people visible and coming out.
The RD had many editions like the RD400, RD500 liquid cooled, all which enjoyed considerable success throughout the world and attained cult status. Truly, the RD350 was the greatest landmark bike of India, which paved the way for performance biking in India and Yamaha's greatest offering to our country's performance enthusiasts. None of the modern day Indian performance bike can even touch 150 km per hour. Only those who have experienced the raw power and the pure adrenaline rush from the RD will know its character and its importance. In races, RDs were in a league of their own. The RD350 is a legend and not your everyday bike. And having driven it few times, I can vouch that RD is a legend, bar performance excellence.